How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the Hot Corner Live Strategy Session. I'm your host, Steve Strazza, Director of Research at All Star Charts. This is a video that we do every week, going over the insider action of the day, doing a little bit of macro, and then looking at our favorite charts and trade ideas. So, without further ado, nothing we discuss here today is any solicitation to buy or sell any security, solely for informational purposes, not to be construed as investment advice. For more on our disclaimer, go to allstarcharts.com/terms. So last week we did a full macro look, kind of top-down intermarket view of whole landscape for risk assets right now. Talked about things like bond market volatility, key levels in financials. I think you keep it really simple. That 30-50 level in financials is huge. And I think the Russell 2000, we could say the same thing about those 2018 and 2020 pre-COVID highs, right? So this is the market telling us over and over and over again since last year that this really is a key level, right? So this is the definition of polarity. Former resistance becomes support, like it is now. And once again, we are seeing buyers come out and defend this level. Small caps up nicely this week, halfway through, trading around 174. We can call this level about 170 here. We push below there. You even have the pivot lows for confirmation. They come in at about 164 down here, the pivot lows, which were really the ultimate lows from October of last year. We're below there. Downside risk is elevated, not just for stocks, but all risk assets, right? I would imagine, volatility accelerates on a break below this level. Things like XLF are below their prior cycle highs. Also, I would imagine things like Bitcoin are not making new highs in that environment either. Something that is making new highs lately, though, is gold, right? So gold is one area that's really looked great. A lot of strength there. Making new highs on a relative basis here. This is gold versus treasury bonds, GLD versus TLT. That's a long-term treasury ETF. New all-time highs. These charts, if you zoom out, good God, they look, almost identical. So I think this is really, solid evidence, or solid leading evidence for where gold is likely headed on an absolute basis, shown here in yellow. And listen, like we say, when assets are in strong uptrends, they tend to outperform their alternatives, right? So another alternative to gold would be stocks. So this is GLD S&P 500 ratio, new 2-year highs, right? So how are we expressing our bullish thesis on gold? We've been using Alamos Gold, AGI. Couldn't be happier. This one and Osisko, which I received an interesting email about from one of our clients today, Osisko's OR. These are the only two on the new highs list among GDX holdings today. Right? So among the gold miner ETF holdings, AGI and OR really, really stand out as leaders. Love AGI here. We're playing against this 1040, 1050 level. We're targeting 15. Today, we're trading about 1212. So maybe not too late to get in, but you really want to buy this one on weakness now. Barrick is another one that's on our list. Unfortunately, not too much insider activity in these gold mining stocks, and we only have like a handful on our list, less than a handful. But I think Barrick, we have these pivot lows from last year here, 1750. We can play it off that level, trade it back to about 25. There's a zone of interest there. But really, this one looks nothing like something like Alamos, right? It's just such a beautiful base here. We like AGI as a vehicle to express a bullish thesis on gold. And, like I said, we might not have a lot of gold mining stocks on our list, but we have the best one. You're not going to find a a better looking gold chart than AGI. So, excuse me. This is a great vehicle. Good way to play it. Speaking of great vehicles, what has been our vehicle of choice for energy since last year now? Oxy, Occidental Petroleum. Why? You all know the story well by now. Warren Buffett has been in this one with size since last year. He now owns a third of the outstanding shares. He owns about 33% of the company with his, recent purchases. So we have another Form 4 filing now, the third in March, and he just continues to build his position. So interesting. I was talking to Mary today. She said, "You think he's trying to buy the whole company? Maybe. I don't know. I think he would be buying more if he really wanted to here. I think, Oxy was down around 60. It was in the Buffett zone, as we like to call it, for a while this time around. He did acquire $1 billion so far this month, but in the grand scheme of thing, I think he owns about 17 or 18 billion now. So listen, this is the level bouncing off there yet again. How many times have we seen this before, right? Every time down here, this has been a great place to buy. As I like to say, it would just be nice now if price could finally rally onto our target. It isn't until about 88 here, really, those 2018 highs. Such a key level for so many energy stocks. Speaking of the 2018 highs, I would caveat this activity from Buffett and this beautiful chart and clear level we have at the Buffett zone, $57.50 to $60 zone, right? Where Buffett and us continue to buy this thing. I want to see this top turn into a failed top and move higher to those 2018 highs. And if that is happening, right, I think at the same time, you're going to see these two charts holding, right? And you could say it the other way too. If this is a top here in Oxy and we're going to break lower, take out 57.50, right, follow through to the downside here, it's just been going sideways. This thing's been doing nothing for so long now. If we are going to break lower, it's happening in an environment where crude oil is below the 2018 highs and energy stocks in general, large cap sector spider XLE, is also below those 2018 highs. And we have such a clear line in the sand right now, like we do with so many things, whether it's financials, Russell 2000. This is another great example. Listen, I think risks are elevated just for owning energy stocks in general. If XLE is below this, I think 78 level here, yep, 78, and we're at about 81.50 today, really nice rebound. And the same is true for crude oil. This thing's really fighting. After getting hit earlier in March, crude has really rallied back from lows of about 65 2 weeks ago to where pressing up against 74.50 right now. Today trading 73 and change right now. So look, I think it's very important if we are going to continue to believe in Oxy and use Oxy as a long vehicle for exposure to the energy space, that we're comfortable even being in the energy space at all. And I think that changes below these 2018 highs, right? So really want to see these levels hold. I'll feel a lot better about owning something like Oxy with Uncle Warren there. This one's been good to own for a while now. First Solar, different kind of energy stock. So this is become a huge leader in the alternative space. Solar energy had the CFO and chief commercial officer filing Form 4s last year in First Solar. So first target hit at about 200, and already looks like it's wanting to chug higher to the next one, trading about 212 today. Next target 316. Those were I think, all-time highs in this one from way back at the financial crisis. Yeah. So back in 2008, those are the all-time highs. We think we're heading back there in First Solar. Duolingo, this is another one. First target hit. Durable Capital was out here all year last year buying this one. So much insider activity in Duolingo last year. Now we're seeing all of those insider buys pay off for them. Duolingo today trading about 136 3/4. From here, if we're above 140, stay long back towards 205, which are the all-time highs as well. Both some really, really strong names. speaking of strong names, Worthington Industries is a steel stock. And, I was looking into this one just before we came on. No other steel stocks look like Worthington right now. So making new highs on a relative basis, looks great, and breaking out on an absolute basis, like Worthington long for above 62.50, long with a target of 89. Coty, big base here. These cosmetics names just are so strong. They've been excellent stocks, whether it's this or Ulta Beauty, just secular leaders. So Coty, big base here. I really like this one. I think it's a nice opportunity to get into a strong stock. 11.11, I call it $11. We could be long towards 14.34. Wingstop, this is from last week's post, or the post earlier this week. So Wingstop, fast food operator, above 187.20, like it long to 261. Another really nice base here. General Electric, GE, big base, been a long time since I've come on here saying good things about General Electric, but can't ignore this base, right? GE was not something we wanted to own for a long time. You can see that on the tail end of the left end of this chart. Coming off a nasty downtrend, years of downside, and huge monster base called an inverted head and shoulders, evolving higher. So above 90, got to be long GE with a target of 135. Right at 94 today. This thing's pressing the new highs right now. Been a really, really, really big performer all year. So it's up about 50% already this year. Standex International Corporation, SXI. We have a passive investor in this one with a 5% stake. That's Copeland Capital Management. Nice multi-year base. Call this a cup and handle. It's a bullish chart pattern, that's for sure, above 114.50. We think this one is resolving higher, makes a fresh leg up to about 162. Cirrus Logic, semiconductors are a great place to be right now. This is a leader in that group. Cirrus Logic, Mackenzie Financial Corp is in this one. Another passive stake of about 5%, similar to Standex. Another big base, similar to Standex too. So if we're above 103.25, those 2021 highs here, above 103, long with a target of 128. And you're going to get confirmation of that breakout, it looks like today, on a resolution back above just the pivot highs here, right? Because you have the nice breakout, you have this big leg higher, big rally into a tight bull flag, right? A nice tight continuation pattern right at a key level. So you could get confirmation right at a breakout of this short-term pattern, confirmation of the longer-term pattern. So that is happening right now today at about 107. That's where those pivot highs were. And we are taking them out as I speak. Cirrus is up big, up 4% today. Looks like there's news here, but it might just be that it's moving. Looks like there was a note out. Strong outlook. Okay. Yeah, so really strong stock, really strong group, Cirrus Logic, long towards 128. And these are the kinds of stocks we want to be buying. It's these tech names. These are the leaders right now. Sure, we're going to continue to have plenty of opportunities in industrials and other cyclical groups, but they've really been under pressure lately. Until that changes, new opportunities and new breakouts and the bullish chart patterns we want to be buying today are mostly going to be in the tech space. Really, that's big cap tech. So this, as it turns out, I brought it along drawn like this because we had this drawn like a top for years. It was a top. But sometimes these patterns fail, right? This is a reversal pattern. So the underlying trend or the structural trend is still higher, even after these years of sideways. So this one's reversing off of this key level. Look at this rip higher. Tech on a relative basis, close to new 20-year highs, really. I have to go all the way back to the dot-com bubble. So it looks like tech is the place to be, and it's really been big tech, like I said. Here's a good example of that. Amazon. I think Amazon could have some catching up to do. We talk about stocks like Meta, Microsoft, Apple. They've been so strong. Amazon's been quiet, but I really like the chart against 100 here. We can so clearly define our risk at these prior cycle highs. We had the lows from last year here. I think the squeeze could be on. We hook back above 100. almost 50% of upside, I like 145 as the first target. So also, I think just a logical level, good place to add exposure or gain exposure to one of the biggest, most important companies in the United States. After a significant sell-off, lost about 50% from its highs, right? IQ, like China a lot. Wanted to bring this one along today because while we're not really back to the breakout level here, with targets at 950 or 15, I think it's still actionable. And really, the reason I want to talk about it is because this one has been such a leader in China. So if I look at IQ relative to something like Chinese technology, breaking out a nice base there too. So I like this one. It's a way to gain exposure to Chinese tech. We have big news out of Alibaba this week. I'm going to split or spin off into a number of different publicly traded companies. So Baba's putting a nice bid in the Chinese tech stock market. NVIDIA Corporation. We all know this one. Semis are hot. This is big cap tech. This is semiconductors. A lot to like here. NVIDIA keeps working. Our most recent level here was 248.50. We're targeting 334. Meta. With the big cap growth, big cap tech theme here. All right, this is communications tech of 200, targeted 295 in Meta. Continue to like this name a lot. Been so strong. Doubled off of its October lows, more than doubled. And then there's Coinbase, which was dipping my toes in, adding a little more to the other day at this 60 level. Had a nice open today, but really sold off a lot. Stock's still up about 2.5%. But still right around the 60 level, trading about 64.50 as we speak. Listen, I like the fact that we got the AVWAP coming in here. We anchored an AVWAP from the lows. You also have it coming in right here around 60. 200-day, the pivot lows from Q3 of last year. So I think, this is a really logical place if you're looking to get in or jump this base breakout like I am. But again, you'll have another opportunity up in the mid 80s here for a longer term setup. So Coinbase, just watching it, 60 back to 83. You could even trade it. All right, that's all we got today. Any questions? You know what to do. Info@All-Star Charts. Reach out. Send us a note. I'm going to check the chat real quick, make sure nothing came through. We do these on YouTube now, so I have YouTube comments to look at. All right. So, Jonathan, I will get you that updated chart. And everybody, thanks for joining me. As always, we'll be back here same time, same place tomorrow. Or next week, sorry.